Hey, what's up survivors, my name is Cap and welcome back to the channel. Today I'm going to show you guys how to install the True Survival mod. Now there's two options you have here. You have the original mod, which is just the True Survival mod, and you have the newest version, which is the True Survival SDX. Now this one's a work in progress, so they're constantly changing and adding things to it, but this is the newest version of the mod if you want to download it. The download and install procedure is basically the exact same, you just get a different file. Now what does the True Survival mod actually do? Well, it adds a ton of different kinds of professions like doctor, carpenter, cop, chemist, soldier, farmer, fisherman, chef, and on and on and on. There's several of these and each one of them have their own starting skills. They get different kinds of bonuses based on what they're actually using. So you can go through and choose which one you want to work to. And so if you're playing on a server or playing with friends, you can actually do a little bit of role playing there. This adds an entirely new dynamic because it's not just a generic survival who does the exact same thing as everybody else. So that's a really cool option there. They are using the SMX HUD mod on there, so it changes up the way the screen looks on the actual HUD itself. And I'm going to show you all this in the video. This is just some of the things that it actually includes. Now I'll put a link to both of these in the video description down below, and you can go kind of check them out. But I will show you exactly what it looks like in the video after I show you how to do the installation. So to install the True Survival SDX mod, it's really quite simple. I'll put a link to the forum post in the video description down below where you can go to it and pull up the information about it and access the downloads. Me, I just downloaded it to my desktop, no big deal. So open it up and get it ready to go. You don't have to do anything else with it from there. Then what you need to do is just open up wherever you have 7 Days to Die installed. I have installed on a little bit of a different hard drive than the default, so it may have a different file path than what you're normally seeing. But as long as you see your Steam installs here. Now, just like when you were doing the Val mod install that I showed before, something I highly recommend is to either make a backup of your 7 Days to Die program files or just make a copy of it. And the reason why is that way you can install the mod within a copy of it and keep the original game files. And that way if something ever happens or you want to go back and forth, you can quite easily. So just right click it, go down to copy, right click paste. And it's a little over 3 gigs, so it may take just a moment depending on your hard drive speed and how quickly it copies over. And just do keep it in mind in case you do have limited space on your hard drive before you start copying it over, because it is right about 3 gigs or so. Okay, once you have it copied, all you have to do is open up the folder, then open up the actual mod in the zip file. It's going to have this master file right here. Inside, all you have to do is just highlight everything that's there, click and drag it into this folder, and if it gives you a question asking if you want to override anything, all you have to do is say yes, and once it actually finishes, then the mod is actually done. And that's all there is to it. Installing it is really quite simple. Okay, once you actually have the survival mod installed, I would recommend doing the exact same thing like I showed you guys with the Val mod, and that is to go through and create an entirely new world just for the mod that you just installed. And that way any and all things that were added to the game won't cause any kinds of conflicts with your existing worlds. And of course that way if you decide to play with a different mod or just a generic vanilla install, you know which world is the one you actually want to use. So I'm going to start up just basic Navezgane default settings and we'll get started here. And as soon as you get in the game, you'll see that the HUD does actually look different. Your life bar and everything over in the far left bottom corner looks a little different. Up in the top left hand corner, you got the day that you're on, the time of the day. Just a few things look a little bit different. And of course, in your toolbar down here, you have the start here and your profession key. And so we want to start with our profession. So what you do is just click on where it says start here, open up the recipes, and you're going to see the different level of professions you have to choose from, as I was saying initially before. So I think I'm going to start as the actual cop. I'm going to craft this. It's going to take it probably just a few seconds. I think it's going to craft it as a briefcase. Yes, I've got this nice cool little briefcase here. And then once you actually have your profession chosen, you just put it on your toolbar, place it on the ground, pick up your little key that you have here, and left click on it. And it's going to pop up with your different options that you have here. You got your pistol book, some lamb rations, water, keystone rock, the things that you need to get started here that you're going to get with this particular class. And like I said, each class gives you a little bit different here. So you've finished the first part of the new mod, and that is choosing your profession. And something else that was added to this mod is the ability to fish, which is something that I've kind of wanted in the game for a long time. And basically you have two different kinds of poles you can make. You can make a simple fishing pole, or you can make a little bit more of a robust fishing pole, a nice one, but it requires a lot more effort. Same thing with different kinds of lure and fishing line. And you have the ability to be able to dig up earthworms now with your shovel, and that will give you as bait. So after you have your fishing pole crafted, what you have to do is just wander in enough to the water to where you get the buff over in the left hand side fishing water, and above your toolbar down there it says, yeah, this looks like a nice spot. Then with fishing pole in hand, you hit R to put a worm on it, and that'll kind of cast it. You can't see the worm on the hook, but you'll see that it's actually leaned down. And that's how you catch a fish. It's really hard to do it, actually. You have to wait for the line to bend and then very quickly click the left mouse button and flick the rod, and if it says you got something, you gotta right click it real quick to reel it in. Counts as free food, so not too bad. And nice little addition to this mod. The mod also adds a bunch of different kinds of traps. Like right here we have what's called this scorpion trap. And put this out here, and I guess it's going to cause some scorpions to muck things up should they get close enough to it. And then we have a snake trap. We'll go ahead and put this out here. Watch it. That looks kind of cartoonish looking. Looks kind of like a sock puppet, but you know, still. It's nice that they put that in here. And then of course we have the generic bear trap, which you can set and actually have to bait. And then if you run over it, it'll kill you just like that. So you have to be real cautious with those kinds of traps, because the traps will actually cause some problems. And we have a shock trap here, but this can only be placed if you've made a generator or if you have another power line. And the generator side of things is a whole nother animal to tackle, but it is a big part of this. And what's cool is that's coming to Alpha 16 as part of the actual game itself, is having generators. So we should be able to see lots of stuff like this without even having to need a mod. But having these different kinds of traps in here is really cool. And something else that's kind of cool is that the broken down vehicles that you find sitting on the sides of the roads have been given an overhaul. Now some of them are actually in pretty good condition. Some of them are still kind of wrecked, but we got tractors, we got, you know, tiny little cars, we got muscle cars, we got ambulances. So that's kind of nice just to see a little bit of a mix up besides just the rundown old sedans. And something else that's been added to this mod is that there's now different kinds of roaming day hordes. Like on day 3, you'll get infected rabbit hordes. I'm on day 5, and so something I'm seeing is zombie chickens. Now chickens were added to the game with this mod and stuff in here too. And now you can get attacked by some ravenous, creepy sounding chickens. And with this, there are also zombie chickens and bears, but I haven't seen any bears show up just yet, so I'm keeping an eye on them to make sure they don't show up here. But there's dog packs, there's climbing hordes, there's hornet swarms. It kind of just depends. So every day has its own version of a horde to show up and deal with. And I don't exactly know who this is. This is an AI controlled player that seems to have showed up. I can't even find this in the log to see who this is, but there is some NPC running around just absolutely decimating things. And you can see here that I'm the only person on the server, so it's not like there's another person here. This is just a random person that showed up. I don't know where they came from, I don't know where they're going, but they showed up and just absolutely wrecked these zombies here. So I don't know where they came from, but that's pretty cool. So I'm going to wrap it up there. There is a ton of stuff that this mod adds. I was just showing a few of the things that I really like about it. I'll keep it as short as possible here, but if you have any questions, you know, drop it down in the comment section down below. And again, the links to all this will be in the video description as well, so you can go check it out and you can read up on the full list of everything that this mod adds. I did have some people asking to show how to install this and some of the things that it adds there, so hopefully this was useful. And if you did find it useful, do me a favor and hit the thumbs up button down below the video. And don't forget to subscribe for future videos. Thank you guys so much for your time. You have a wonderful day, and I'll talk to you later.